sources. We take from Quran. We, if we don't find that exclusively in Quran, we look into Sunnah. If we don't find something exclusively in Sunnah, we try to find that in Ijma Sahaba, the consensus of the Sahaba. And if we do not find a decisive thing in the consensus of the Sahaba as well, then there is an ijtihad performed on the issue. See, what we need to understand is things like using technology, modernity. Now, anything definitely that does not contradict Islam, we can take it. So, if we look at democracy and capitalism, surely they do contradict Islam, because although it is a topic in itself, but telling you very shortly, when we look at democracy, democracy means the sovereignty belongs to the people, whereas sovereignty, according to Islam, belongs to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. So, so in one single word, in one single line, the basis of it is wrong. So inshallah, we will not take it. Similarly, is capitalism. Um, um, Democracy is actually the product of capitalism. However, saying that technology is is the product of capitalism is wrong. See, the technology and thing is not really the product of capitalism. It is the product of people's invention, right? And although if capitalism happens to be there, yes, it is capitalism is there, but that does not mean, say for example, internet that we are using now, that does not mean this is purely a product of capitalism, hence we cannot use it. No, we can use it. We can go with the modernity. See, Islam do not tell us that if Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never used a car, we should not use a car as well. This is wrong. Anything, that's why I said that if there is an ijtihad performed, says there is nothing wrong in the car, then we can use it, right? However, there are obviously conditions attached to it. We cannot buy a car on riba, because riba is haram. We cannot buy a car to do something haram, like I want to go to a pub every weekend, hence I want to buy a car. Obviously, because doing that action is haram, hence you're buying this becomes haram as well. So we can definitely use. I do not think this is any compromise with modernity or anything. Inshallah, we can definitely use it. These things are purely mubah. What matters is what we use it for, is the real question. So if we are using internet to do something wrong, then obviously using internet is haram. If we are using internet to propagate Islam, then obviously not just permitted, but I would say it becomes obligatory upon us to use internet. Khair, inshallah, I think we'll leave it there, because I understand that is what the question is, and by using them, we have definitely not compromised with capitalism or democracy. No. So we take it case by case basis. We reject democracy as a system for humans, because it does not come from because it contradicts Quran and Sunnah, whereas using of some things in technology like internet, cars, phones, etc., they do not contradict Quran and Sunnah. And inshallah, we can use them.
Okay, brother. This is the comment from Brother Abdul.
If you blame on nation state for every failure, say to sorry to doubt it, it's not because of nation state itself, but some of derivatives inside of the state, economics, politics, and so on. So long as the nation state successfully runs these people, good governance, welfare, and so on, there will be no problem for nation state. That's a good question, brother. What I would like to say here is, see, if you think that the nation state itself, there is no problem because of the derivative, and the problem is because the economics and politics inside. See, I have said I haven't gone into economics and politics purely because I understand that differs from place to place. Hence, I only discuss this issue from the structural point of view and discuss the consequences that happen because of this. Because this structure itself is not correct. The way you divide lines, the way you draw lines, obviously by this you cannot stop people from, say for example, I'll give you this example. We have drawn lines now, right? Say for example, let's take Iraq, right? Iraq or any other state in the Muslim world we see, they have oil there, right? Now then the resources has to be used by others as well, right? Especially the developed world, what they want now is that oil. So based on the structure that has been made, or you've told the people that this is how the structure of a nation state should be, obviously because it is flawed, you need that oil, you need the resources, you need to share the resources among the people, but you are not actually, by drawing the lines, you are dividing those resources. So obviously for that thing, because naturally you want it, obviously for that thing you will create conflicts, you will have conflicts going on automatically. Hence we cannot say really that the state itself would be ideal if you have good governance and everything. Even if you have good governance, you still want people to be united. um, you still want the especially when it comes to Muslims, we still see that Muslims want to be united, whether it's good governance or the bad governance. Um, and as I said, the structure how it stands itself is also flawed. It cannot work. I mean, we have seen its failure. Um, some things, if we, it is not important for some things to just be written in the books. To write in the books, we can write fancy stories, right? So if even if we think it in theory it is perfect, in in practical it can never ever be perfect, because we have seen with our own eyes that this can't be perfect. In fact, if we look back at the Islamic State when it existed, these type of conflicts, people were not the resources of the people were not usurped. When Khilafah annexed a land, it actually gave its resources to those people. It did not take their resources. For example, when British came and colonized Indian subcontinent, they took the resources from India and took it back to Britain, right? When they colonized any other part of the world, British, French, Portugals, when they colonized any part of the world, they took the resources of these countries, took it back to their world, took it back to their capitals. Whereas the history of the Khilafah, history of Islam is different. If Khilafah went to a place and they saw that the people are in need of something, they actually gave it to them, because they did not have this idea of we being superior. You cannot stop people to think in a nation state that they are superior, because that is what they are being fed with every day. And to hold on to this state, you have you have to continue, you have to instill these ideas like nationalism and patriotism. So I mean, this is all I can say. This idea can never ever be never ever go with the nature of the human mind. Here I have another question here. It is really funny. You reject globalization product, but in other hand, come on, let's see that establishment of Khilafah is one globalization idea. You want to politically homogenize all of state to be Islamic state under Khilafah. It means you globalize Islamic politic in the world. Come on, it is also sort of globalization. He has objection about. Okay, Khair brother. Fair brother, we there is nothing to hide here. Um, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, a very clear ayah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we have sent you a messenger with guidance and with the deen of haq. ليظهره على الدين كله. So that this deen dominates over all other deens. Over all other deens. This deen dominates over all other deen. ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. Even though the mushrikun may hate it. In another ayah, ولو كره الكافرون. Even though the kafirun may hate it. Right? Now, the whole idea that we see in globalization is still continue to have nation states, but take the resources of it and give it back to its own country. So, for example, um, UK or France may want resources from a country. In the name of globalization, it takes the resources, gives and takes it back to its home for its own benefit. Um, s- and we see, on the other hand, the people in Africa are dying of hunger. People in the Muslim world, in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, even in India, Kashmir, Indonesia, people are dying of hunger, right? So what is happening? Is there not enough wealth in the world? No, there is enough wealth in the world. So globalization is really a word, although in to speak it is an idea that they want to do everything good for others, everyone develops so that the world becomes a good place. But this development that has come in the to the developed world has come at the expense of the third world, has really come at the expense of the third world. They usurp their resources, they take the resources back to their countries, and the people in the third world suffer because of that. Hence, and this is not the case with the Khilafah, as I said. If the Khilafah goes somewhere and it sees that the people do not have enough there, it gives it to the people. It gives from its treasury to those people. Hence, and because Islam has the concept of zakah as well, right? So it is not a coincidence. There was a time when people in Africa, there was none found in Africa, in the northern part of Africa, which was part of the Khilafah. There was no one found who was eligible to receive the zakah. I mean, it says you something. Today, if we see Subhanallah under capitalism, those countries are so poor countries. Where are their resources? What happened to their? What happened to the point there where no one was even eligible to receive the zakah? So that is my point, brother. So if you think that by globalization and things, uh, the globalization stands in a different context completely. But yes, with Islam, we must be very clear that Islam is a deen that has come to dominate the world, and Allah subhanahu wa taala has given us Islam as a mercy to mankind. Hence, Allah subhanahu wa taala says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. O Muhammad, we have sent you not but as a mercy to mankind. So when Islam goes to a certain place, it goes as a mercy to mankind, and history is a testimony to this. History is a testimony to this, and we will see this only once we look into the history of Islam. And inshallah, I think that answers the question.
Jazakallah, brother.
Is my voice not clear? I mean, I think I'm really
Oh,
speaking very.
maybe you a little bit close to your mic. Please, a
I'm
little
very
bit close to your mic. Already?
okay.
Maybe you can set up your mic a little bit. The mic so you can set up to the maximum, maybe maximum volume.
It is set. Yes, it is set to maximum.
No, yeah, no, it's okay, okay. Jazakallah, brother. Okay, brother, this is the next question from Brother Cahyo. He's not in
From
Japan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the brother has asked, as you put the nation-state concept in the means of territorial concept, it would raise problems in Islamic world. Can I say that this one terminology of one ummah is one political faction and not one territorial one political faction and not one territory? Yes, brother. See, I am. I think the brother wanted to ask the